So, today we're going to dive into the hidden world of precision timing. You know, that invisible heartbeat that keeps our entire high-tech world ticking along perfectly. We're going to look at a fantastic little device that brings laboratory-grade stability right to your workbench. Let's jump in.
Seriously, have you ever stopped to think about it? Whether it's a super clear radio signal, a flawless digital audio recording, or a really complex science experiment, it all comes down to one thing: an incredibly stable, incredibly precise clock. But how do you even get that level of perfection? Well, it all starts with this simple but really elegant component that acts like a tiny, perfect metronome.
You know, at the heart of pretty much all our electronics is something called a crystal oscillator. Think of it like a tiny, perfect tuning fork. When you give it a little bit of voltage, a quartz crystal inside starts vibrating at a very, very specific frequency, creating this super reliable electrical pulse. It's the gold standard for timing. But what happens when standard just isn't good enough for what you're trying to do?
Well, the secret to getting ultimate stability is surprisingly simple and kind of awesome. You take that crystal oscillator and you put it in a tiny temperature-controlled oven. Yep, this is what we call an oven-controlled crystal oscillator, or OCXO for short. By keeping that crystal at a perfectly constant temperature, you get rid of any frequency drift from the outside world. It's a massive, massive leap in precision.
And that, my friends, brings us to a device that packs all of this incredible technology into one tiny, super powerful package: the Mini OCXO. So here it is, the PCS Electronics Mini OCXO. Just look at it. It's small, it's robust, it's designed to be a total workhorse. And this isn't just one oscillator. Oh no, it's a multi-channel signal generator that puts an immense amount of power right at your fingertips.
All right, let's talk specs for a second, because this is where things get really impressive. You get 3 independently programmable outputs, plus a dedicated 10 MHz reference out. The frequency range is huge, from 330 kHz all the way up to 330 MHz, and you can tweak it in tiny 1 Hz steps. But here's the kicker, the spec that really matters: that's stability. Plus or minus 0.1 parts per million. That is exceptionally precise for a device that's small enough to fit in the palm of your hand.
Okay, so a super stable signal generator is cool and all, but what do you actually do with it? This is where the magic happens. Let's talk about some real-world applications.
For any ham radio operators out there, this is an absolute game changer. A stable reference means your transmitter and your receiver are perfectly locked on frequency. For that really high frequency work on VHF and SHF, or for weak signal digital modes like FT8, that stability isn't just nice to have, it's the difference between making a contact and just hearing static. And for satellite work like QO100, it's absolutely essential. But it's not just for the hams. The Mini OCXO is a powerhouse in the lab or the recording studio too. It's a lab-grade RF signal source, and having those 3 independent channels means you can run some really complex tests or sync multiple devices from one single source. And for the audiophiles, you can use this to provide a rock-solid clock for your high-end converters, which can really tighten up the soundstage and clarity. It all comes back to that perfect timing.
Okay, so you're probably thinking, this sounds amazing, this sounds powerful, but is it a pain to use? And the answer to that is a resounding nope. Getting the exact frequency you need is incredibly straightforward.
Programming this thing is honestly a piece of cake. You just connect it with a standard USB-C cable, open up a terminal program, and type in a simple command. For example, if you want 30 MHz on the first output, you just type FQ1 300,000,000. Hit enter, type load, and boom, it's saved right to the device's memory. It's really that easy. Right out of the box, it comes pre-programmed with some pretty useful frequencies, but you can, of course, change them to whatever your heart desires. But what's really slick is that you get 2 user profiles, so you can save 2 completely different sets of frequencies and then just switch between them with a quick press of the set button. Super handy.
But wait, the story doesn't end with just simple programming. Oh no. For those of you who really love to tinker and truly customize your gear, this device has something really special up its sleeve. Because, see, this is more than just a product you buy off the shelf. It's a platform. It's designed from the ground up for people who want to understand how their tools work and maybe even make them better.
The entire project is completely open source. You can go to GitHub right now and download the source code for the firmware and even the hardware schematics. I mean, everything. This means you can modify the code, add your own new features, compile it yourself, and flash your own custom firmware to the device. That is the ultimate level of control.
From locking down a transatlantic radio signal to perfecting a high-fidelity audio system, the possibilities with this are just vast. So it really leaves us with just one question. What amazing project would you build or test or create with this kind of perfect stability at your command?